Oh, that's a Mirage. Watch out for that. Bringer of the Black Dawn, what? Oh no. Orthion, huh? Well, that's interesting. That'd get pretty interesting with a Skyclave apparition, huh? Today on Commander Replay, we check out this Iroas deck and find out if we can untap and activate this Orthion. Next on Commander Replay. Hey guys, there's two great ways to support the channel. All links are in the description below. Welcome back, everyone. Playing some Iroas God of Victory today, and today's deck list comes to us from Patreon supporter D-Manny. And I've gone ahead and kept an opening hand that looks like this. Got 2 lands, a Signet Magus, and a Sword of Fire and Ice. All look pretty good. This is more of a late game kind of card, or at least like mid to late game. Any point at which a board wipe has probably gone off. Burnished Heart is also solid. Okay, what are we doing here? We're first in the turn order. We'll play the Marsh Flats. Notably, this one makes you lose a lot of life. That is a thing. Crack this thing. See what D-Manny's got in here for lands. The snow one that comes in tapped wouldn't be terrible. Alpine something. He does not have that one. I guess it's going to be a Sacred Foundry. Into play tapped. Yeah, we're going to want to do our best to get off of this Sunbaked Canyon as quickly as possible. Playing this on like turn 2, that's a lot of life loss. Soul Ring for opponent. So let's take a look at our commander. It's Iroas God of Victory, 4 mana for a 7/4, indestructible, is not a creature if your devotion to red and white is less than 7. Creatures you control have menace, so good. Prevent all damage that would be dealt to attacking creatures you control, also so good. I don't know why, whenever I play Iroas or someone else plays it, like, I always forget one of those last 2 modes. Don't know why. Like, I'm only ever thinking about one of them at a time, and then I kind of forget that the other one's there. One of those weird things. But yeah, Iroas has been a staple of the format for quite a while, and it's a powerful card to have in your deck. It's not my favorite in the command zone. I really prefer it in the 99 of a lot of decks. I think there's a lot of commanders that like give you a lot more. Iroas doesn't give you so much value. He doesn't wear equipment particularly well, and that's kind of stuff that I like to do. So for that reason, I like him in the 99 a lot more. But there's a Field of the Dead. Oh, that's awkward. That one comes in tapped. Well, we're going to get the Sunbaked Canyon in. We will play the Aboros Charm. And opponent did get themselves an Esper Sentinel, which we cannot pay for. So they get to draw. Esper Sentinel, this will be a good target for the Esper Sentinel. So anyway, this deck list comes to us from D-Manny, and he's played this on the channel a bunch of times. He said he made some changes to it recently. I saw that he had some of the battles in the deck, so hopefully we'll run into some of those. Those could be very cool. Oh god, Toski. Toski's so nasty. It just never dies. The irony is that, like, there is tons of exile removal now, and it feels like whenever a Toski hits the board, it just seems to dodge all of it. I don't know why that is. Probably because, like, no one wants to spend a Path of Swords on it, but, like, you should, because it's a lot of card draw, and it doesn't get cleaned up by board wipes, typically. Sylvan Library for opponent. Yeah. But yeah, this is this deck is pretty tight from D-Manny. It's got a lot of recursion. He's got Revelar Karmic Guide. I don't think he has a sack outlet in here, and that's cool though. So he's not doing the infinite, but you can kind of get a little bit of a loop going where you just keep bringing things back. And this deck is very recursive. He's beaten me with the Graveyard a lot with this deck. I did cut the Dockside Extortionist. He has gotten me with that a number of times. A lot of times the deck is just hum along until you find Dockside and then just win because you have stupid amounts of mana. Had that come up a number of times. Esper Sentinel coming in our way, yep. Yeah, I mean, even the little paper cuts like that, they matter when you got something like this out there. We'll check in a second. We'll take a peek at the deck. We'll see if he has any life gain in here, because that could be a thing. There's a mountain. I don't know that changes our math. We could get Iroas. I'm thinking I want to get that Burnished Heart going. Yeah, so I think this turn is going to be Burnished Heart. Because Burnished Heart will get us lands, which may allow us to not use the Sunbaked Canyon. That'd be pretty good. And this is a good time to get the Field of the Dead into play. Massive lag spike. And we pass like that. Let's take a look at the deck. So here's the deck list. Pretty low mana curve, heavily focused in 3. Yeah, about a normal amount of 4 drops. Has some 6 drops in here. Not a lot in the way of 5s. 5 drops are kind of weird. They sit in a weird spot where, for standard, a lot of the 6 drops are usually kind of the big, finishers. 5 is in that weird spot of, they're expensive to cast, but they're not, so powerful as 6 and 7 mana cards, which, the ones that tend to get run in this format are, very game-breaking, very game-winning type stuff. Toski, gonna do some damage. Draw a card, yep. Anyway, let's see what else he's got in here. He's got a True Conviction. That is fantastic for life gain. Oh yeah, I think he did get me with that one once. It's funny because I've had this matchup against this deck a lot, so like I can think about a lot of the ways he's beaten me with this deck. Just recalling through my memory banks, I'm like, oh yeah, there was one where he definitely got me with the True Conviction where I think I was going to be able to Alpha Strike back at him, but he gained like 40 or 50 life, so I'm like, nope, we don't have that kind of damage. He had another one where he got wild with the Savior of Olenbach. And was it Angel of Glory's Rise? They create like a semi-loop where they kind of keep bringing each other back. It's not in the same way as like Revel Arc where it's all at once, but it's like, it's just really hard to interact with his board once that happens. I cut 2 cards from the deck, Dockside Extortionist and Seasoned Pyromancer, just because it's kind of expensive still. But I added Tibolt's Trickery and Lapse of Certainty for just being able to handle unforeseen things. I wasn't exactly sure what we were going to be getting into in this game, so I just wanted some, like, insurance. Insurance in case someone tries to do something wild. That does, of course, require that we'll have them in our hand, which we do not. But actually, does he have a Sunforger in here? He does not, and that's fine. Sunforger does take up a lot of card slots. It's a big mana play. Like, you need to be built around Sunforger, and it takes up a lot of focus in your deck. And like, once you get to the Sunforger, like, it probably takes up a lot of focus of like everything you're doing from that point in the game. So there are reasons not to run it. It is a powerful card, but now there are like many options of things that you can be doing. Imperial Recruiter. So like this used to go get Dockside Extortionist, and if we did that, maybe not in this board. That'd still be a lot of extra mana. It'd put us pretty far ahead. Do we risk... Oh, man, I really want to get this Fire and Ice going so we can start shooting stuff. We don't have a 2-mana play. But if we lose the Burnished Heart, it's really bad. Yeah, oh, man, I want to get greedy, but just... yeah, things could happen. Really much rather be able to crack that Burnished Heart. But, yeah, part of me is thinking about, like, oh, man, we could put the Fire and Ice on there and shoot one of these little dork guys. That would be great. The question is, what do we get with an Imperial Recruiter now that Dockside's gone? Revel Arc is not the worst. No, you can't get a Revel Arc with that one. I think you can get this one, right? Yeah, there's some stuff. There's probably some stuff. We'll see. We'll see. What is interesting, let's take a look at what our opponents are doing, by the way. So we got Sergeant Flintlock piloting Klothys, God of Destiny, which is interesting. So 3 mana, 4/5. Is not a creature if your devotion is less than 7 to green and red. At the beginning of your pre-combat main phase, exile target card from a graveyard. If it was a land card, add red or green. Otherwise, you gain 2 life and does 2 damage to each opponent. Ooh, Rage Reflection. Oh, gross. That's a nasty card. Anyway, what's interesting about this is that we have a lot of recursion in the deck, and this kind of shuts off that recursion, so that's not great for us. So we want to be careful about that. We don't want to just be running things into the graveyard all willy-nilly. Like, we could probably do otherwise in the absence of graveyard removal. Like, if this weren't here, there's some chance that you just, like, lay this down there and then dump your hand and, try to get everything back with this and Karmic or Revel Arc and so on, right? Yeah, Flintlock sends that over to Annihilator and is going to draw 2 off the double strike with the Toski. So what are they up to? 3 cards drawn already? Toski, man. I just don't understand why they had to make it indestructible. Could have made it, like, regenerate or something like a little less terrible. We got Annihilator 7 in the middle. Now down to 25 after some pokes and some Sylvan Libraries. Piloting the Prismatic Bridge. So 5 mana at the beginning of their upkeep. Reveal cards from the top of your library until a creature or planeswalker. Put it into play. Rest on the bottom. I think we're probably going to be seeing that pretty soon. So much ramp. That's going to trigger the Esper Sentinel. Yep. There's the Prismatic Bridge. Yep. See what else he has in this deck. Blade Historian's very good. Pretty sure I've lost to that one. It's an easy one to lose to. If you got some of the invasions, would be cool to see those. Invoke Justice, always one that I try to sneak in there, but I do just like Miraculous Recovery better because it's instant speed. The instant speed thing is just wild, right? There's so few ways to permanently reanimate something at instant speed. Just not a lot of that in the game. Invoke Justice is cool, though. The quad white, maybe not the best, but the fact that you can pump up your team in an aggressive deck, that does matter. Those +1 counters do matter and change combat math, and like it can turn an unprofitable attack into a profitable attack and or keep you from getting attacked for the same reason. Just keep the cord for opponent will crack our... Actually, we were smart. Oh, it doesn't trigger on their turn. It's not going to matter, right? Yeah. Let's get some lands. What's our mana situation look like? Is there a Mary in this deck? There is not an Emeria in this deck. That's okay. That's fine. That being the case, I think I'm still going to go 2 planes because we have a mountain in play already, so I think this will kind of balance out a little bit. Yeah, Emeria is an interesting card. You do need to have like a lot of extra land drops to be able to get Emeria going. Even in like a monocolor deck, without some trickery, like, if we got this Burnished Heart back for any reason, like even just this thing, then we'd very quickly be on Emeria mana or, multiple turns of Sword of the Animist, Hearth and Home, that type of stuff. Those can all get you to Emeria very easily, but if you don't run into those things, like, it can actually be pretty difficult to set up Emeria, and, like, that being the case, it is very slow, and, if opponent has a Strip Mine, it's probably going to get shot, right? So, yeah, I can definitely understand the choice to not run Emeria because, especially the way this deck is too, because this deck is pretty quick. It doesn't like come out of the gates on like turn 4 or turn 5, but it's like turn 5, 6, 7, it's very consistent in like putting threats on the board and being very close to a winning spot. I've seen him do that a number of times. It's explosive, right? So we kind of spend those first few turns with a Signet and a Burnished Heart, and now that once we're set up, it kind of lays a lot onto the board and then can overwhelm the table. So that's kind of how this deck operates. But anyway, there's a land. Let's play that land. Lands are always good. I mean, Karmic Guide on the Burnished Heart is not the worst idea. The question, what's getting exiled? Probably the land, because mana's always exciting. So we might have a turn. That being the case, let's get this Magus of the Wheel in. Let's get this Fire and Ice in. Actually, yeah, we have exactly enough for the Fire and Ice and the Equip. That seems pretty good. Can't pay for the Sentinel, though. Love to shoot that Sentinel. We've got a 5/5 Magus. Protection from blue and red. Not awful. Keeper of the Cord is going to trigger. Gotta love Keeper of the Cord. I think it's going to be doing some work for them this game. 2 green decks at the table. We've ramped pretty good. Going to be one of the better keepers I've ever seen. It is hard for me to not run this card. It just, like, if you fall behind, this is the card you want to see. This can get you caught up in a single turn cycle, right? I've talked about it so much, and it's such a good card. Let's see if D-Manny's got one. He does not. It's okay. D-Manny generates value in this deck pretty well. You could definitely still run one, because it's just good. But, oh, that's a Mirage. Watch out for that. That animates Klothys. That's a pretty serious board state. The good news is we've got the Pro Red on there. That's looking like a good decision, at least at this moment in time, because now we can block this thing all day, which is good news. Also keeps us blocked on the Mirage. Does mean that we may not be able to do so much attacking. Definitely have to keep things back for blocks. Let's see if there's some removal right here from Annihilator. We're just going to go to Fairy's Protection. Okay, well, let's get that out of the way. Totally cool with that. But yeah, double combats and double strike together, that's what a winning board state looks like. I've ended a lot of games with that combination of stuff. It doesn't even take that much. Like, once they untap next turn, you're talking about probably killing multiple players, assuming no blocks. And if they have something big to follow it up with, I didn't see what they exiled with the Klothys. Someone Scalding Tarn. Yeah, that makes sense. They usually go for the lands when they can. Klothys is an interesting commander, though. It's like, because it generates, like, teeny bits of value, but it's also, like, very disruptive in the graveyard removal. And, like, at stronger tables, graveyard removal is so important. Yeah, there's that extra land. And, like, with all the card draw from Toski, they're just not going to run out of lands at any point. And there's some Lightning Greaves, so I think Mirag's going to be joining the party here. We should still be, like, moderately safe. Toski coming our way. Klothys over to Jenka, Mirage over to Jenka. Yeah, so we kept away the, Yeah, so we're keeping the 2 red ones away, thankfully. Do have the Toski coming at us. Toski would kill our Magus, so we're just going to have to take the damage on that one. A little bit of removal is going to be needed. Oh, opponent's going to throw their Keeper in front. Yeah, I mean, with the double strike, you probably have to. Good thing we played that sword, though. Otherwise, that'd be a lot of damage potentially coming at us. I don't know that they would send all of it at us, but like they would definitely give it a better look if there were more profitable attacks in our direction. I think it's been a while since I've talked about it, so I'll talk about it again. But incentive is so important in this format. Like, if you just don't have incentive to attack someone, it's hard to justify doing so because you're leaving yourself open, you're losing like basically time and opportunity. And like time is like the shortest resource basically, right? Like games can end so quickly now that you don't want to waste time doing something, which is why that's why I like Miraculous Recovery over any of the sorcery speed stuff, right? Just because there's less time and the way timing works, and doing it at the end step, you basically like circumvent a turn of your opponent's ability to react to the thing, right? They have one less turn that they can react to that, whatever you're getting back. Opponent does get themselves a Teferi right here, and what they do, they put something on top. They put the Klothys on top. No, they put the Rage Reflection on top. Okay. Liliana Dreadhorde General. That one's pretty good. Blown up 2 creatures. This looks like a blown up 2 creature situation. Yep. Well, we have a Karmic Guide. Question is, what do we do with it? Both are good. We probably need cards more than we need anything. Oh, yeah, opponents have way more cards than us. Question is, how much mana do we actually have? Paradox Haze. Oh, God. Our final opponent, by the way, is Jenka Tamar, piloting Otharri Sun's Glory. Kind of off to a slow start, at least relative to the rest of the table. I guess it's only turn 5. And it's not even that bad of a start. They had a Keeper, they got a land, they got an Esper Sentinel. So, like, yeah, I mean, their mana production's above the turn count. Everyone else is just, like, even faster. But yeah, with 11 cards and what is that, about 6 mana, like the problem that they're going to run into here is like, what do you cast? Because you can probably only cast 1 or 2 of them. Let's check out that Imperial Recruiter. Which one is this? This one is power 2 or less. Anything that like really makes sense for us to go get? Facebreaker's not terrible. That's card advantage and ramp. Stoneforge Mystic, what's that get? Animist, Hearth and Home, Fire. We already have the Fire and Ice. Not too many equipment in the deck. Skullclamp's good. Shadow Spear's good too. Mangara's not the worst thing I've heard of. Yeah, it sucks taking that Dockside out because now I don't have like a super clear picture of what we should be getting. Ardent Elementalist is very interesting. Skyclave is interesting. Adeline is a magic card. What are these Planeswalkers at? That one's at 2. This one's at 1. Yeah, maybe we take down the Planeswalkers. I'm thinking like Karmic Guide. Does this say creatures? Or Planeswalkers, rather? Any target, it does. Hoping we have the mana for this, so do we have... We need 9. 9 mana on turn 5? Oh, God. Seems like a lot. That's 5, 6, 7, 8. We're 1 short. So if we can draw a land... There's the land. All right. Well, we'll just do the plan then. I was going to explain the plan. Now we just do the plan. Play the planes. Cast Zephyr. Make sure we use our lands correctly. Cast the Karmic Guide. Oh, please don't tell me I miscounted. I think I miscounted. Oh, I miscounted. No. I hate when I miscount. Oh, I forgot the Fervor. Well, that being the case, cast the Karmic Guide. Get the... I think we're going to get the Magus because we're empty-handed and our opponents are not. They will both have haste. And let's go clear those Planeswalkers off the board. So that one's at 1 and that one's at 2, so it shouldn't matter too much. Oops. Make sure we did this right. They appear to be attacking the correct spot. And we'll pass like that. And we'll try to tick these things down right here. Opponent got themselves a Mondrak in last turn. Pretty interesting card. Haven't seen this a lot yet, but obviously great for Otharri. Yeah, I mean, doubling tokens in Otharri is insane. Otharri is a very strong commander. Unfortunately for them, the one thing they haven't done is get their commander into play yet. Just like having Otharri in play for a couple turns means that you're generating so many bodies that, you know, like if some board wipes go off and some things slow down, like turn 8, turn 9, you just recast your commander and you've got like 5 or 6 2/2s coming in. After a board wipe, that's usually going to take at least a player out. The whole army in a can thing, like it's just you're casting 1 card and getting like so much power back on board so that you can be empty-handed and it's not that big of a deal. But that'll get even better with Mondrak in play. I've been meaning to look at this cycle more. I haven't been playing as much the past like 2-3 months. I've had some other stuff going on, some cool stuff, some fun stuff, some not so fun stuff. I've been working a lot too, but I've got some fun stuff going on that I will be able to share with you guys eventually. It just has a very, very long lead-up time. Yeah, opponent's going to exile that Liliana Dreadhorde General. Seems like a plan to me. Next turn is probably going to be something like Imperial Recruiter, Adeline, Sword, leave up the Magus, is what I'm thinking. We should be pretty close on the Field of the Dead. We need 7 other lands. 5, 6, 7. Yeah. Next land should get us a 2/2, and it'll have haste. So busted. Just too much value. Fiery Emancipation. Oh no. Triple damage off of that ability? That seems strong. There's a Shadow Spear. I'm thinking about a Shadow Spear for us now, unless someone wants to deal with that. Because, yeah, we're going to need a lot of life. I mean, on the other hand, is it the situation where life gain doesn't even matter that much against the Emancipation because, you know, basically any amount of damage will kill you? Which way do you go on that? Yeah, I mean, like if it's true conviction amount of life gain would be very good. Shadow Spear may not be good enough because this isn't like a big Voltron deck where you're gaining like 20 or 30 at a time. If it were, that could make sense, but yeah, we're definitely gonna have some choices to make with the Imperial Recruiter here. Bringer of the Black Dawn, what? Oh no. Does that come in before, at the beginning of your upkeep? At the beginning of your Oh, it's because they get 2 upkeeps. Wow, they can tutor for a card. That's insane. One can hope that they go for removal for the Fiery Emancipation, but that may be wishful thinking. I played the Bringer's deck one time. The black one's the best one by far. I wish the white one didn't have Wooburg in its cost like years ago, like 10 years ago. Like white was pretty... Oh god, that's an Ugin. That's terrible. Well, that's how you deal with all that. We're going to lose some stuff. The sword will stick around, which is exciting. Not thrilled about losing the card draw. Yeah, there's the minus. Was that like 6? Yeah, good enough to get the Emancipation. That cleans up a lot of stuff on board and then creates new problems as well. They got rid of their own Sylvan Library and the Paradox Haze, so they lost a little bit in that. They still have the Bringer, which is a pretty nasty card, but... what are we getting with this guy? We probably need card draw now. Mangara is certainly interesting. Archon of Cruelty. No. Discards a card, loses 3 life, and sacks a land. Gross. No, loses 3 life, sacrifices a creature or Planeswalker. Still gross. Still very, very gross. Yeah, someone's got to have removal. Bloom Tender. Ugh. Not cracking the Magus right there could bite us, because opponents just have a lot more cards than we do. And now we don't have haste. Oh man, this is where I like Aurelia in the command zone, because you just drop her back out, go hit things with this sword, and all of a sudden you've got cards back. Hopefully Jenka's going to fire off some removal right here. If nothing else, they've got Otharri, although Otharri doesn't get through the Archon, which is a thing. Let's see what D-Man he's got for board wipes. Farewell, Hour of Revelation, Vanquish, Heliod's Intervention, so it looks like 3. Otharri coming into play, yep. You gotta start ticking that up. Ooh, and an Iroas. Now they can get past the Archon, so if nothing else, they should at least be able to take down the Ugin. Sword on the Otharri, yep. How close are they on the Iroas? That's 1, 2, 3, 4. Still need 3 more Devotion on Iroas. If that turns on, it's gonna be some damage. I think Mangara is gonna be our best bet right here, because we're definitely in the cast 2 spells a turn portion of the game, and we need to draw some cards. Otharri and Sword of the Animus trigger. Hoping one of those going into the Planeswalker. Ideally the Flyer. To the face, to the face. Well, tries the... Oh, they can block the ground one. Doesn't matter, though. I mean, do you try to race in this situation? I guess that's 2 damage. They've got boots right here. Klothys has direct damage. It's interesting. Anything with haste? At the beginning of combat on your turn, target creature gets haste. That one's got haste. I don't know if that's, like, strong enough, per se. Skyclave Apparition is not the worst thing I've heard of. What is it? 4 or less. No, that doesn't get rid of the big stuff. What else we got in here? What's in our graveyard? Ardent Elementalist any good? Nope. Graveyard is pretty empty. Opponent goes down to 16. They're getting down there, but they've got some big stuff on board. And our haste going down is like a pretty big problem. Well, this is a Skyclave Apparition. Might just hold on to that. Yeah, I think we go Imperial Recruiter and just kind of see what's in our deck. Adeline is decent. God, I wish Aurelia said haste. Blade Historian's the finisher. We're not set up for the finisher. That destroys enchantments, which is relevant. That's card draw, which is a thing we could also use. That is decent. I mean, haste. So haste gets us a card draw and allows us to shoot the Ugin. That's not... Exile up to 1 other target creature card from the battlefield or a card from a graveyard. Ooh, yeah. That could get some of that big stuff out of play. That's a possibility. Oh, man, it feels like it's probably just got to be Mangara, though. Well, Stoneforge Hearth and Home is a thing. Not all that well set up, though. I think it's Mangara. Losing the Magus hurt a lot. The Prismatic Bridge is gone. That's actually good news. Let's get Mangara. We'll equip the sword. Oh, that's lifelink too, actually, which is relevant, given how things are going. See what Flintlock's got. Answers would be good. Hasn't been so much in the way of removal. Other than that Ugin, which didn't work out the best. Blasphemous Act is a match card. And we've got Pro Red. Love it. I was thinking about the sword. I'm like, which one do we put the sword on? Wasn't thinking about a Blasphemous Act, but that worked out. If they cast one more spell, we get to draw a card. So a bunch of big nasties coming off the board. Love it. Also that Bloom Tender in a 5-color deck. Nasty. That's a nice play from Flintlock right there. We don't have to get crushed by the Prismatic Bridge deck. Atsushi coming in, and we can draw a card. Love it. Mountain, equip, and boots. Ooh, they can get some damage in. Where do they want to put it? Planeswalker or the face? To the Planeswalker. Both are good options right here. I think I'm more in favor of killing the Ugin. Ugin's just so strong. Because, like, if you let it tick up one more time and then it's still sitting out there, then you're back into, like, even minusing for, like, 3 or 4, and that's very scary. With all of that going on, though, now it's sort of anyone's game. See who can rebuild the best. That's a lot of mana, though. That makes me nervous. Do they even have the colors to recast their commander? Yeah, just barely. Just barely. Yep, Prismatic Bridge coming back. Maybe not the scariest thing, because that doesn't put that much into play for them right now. Though I wouldn't mind if they cast a second spell here so we can draw a card, but doesn't look like it's going to happen. Let's see what Jenka's got. Even just recasting his commander is not the worst thing right here. Yeah, here it comes. Still has some mana left, too. 7 cards. If Iroas turns on, things are going to get real. I might hold that Skyclave Apparition for a second. I don't really know what the best target is right now. That's 2 loyalty, 1 to go. Rumor Gatherer. We get to draw a card. Important. Orthion, huh? Well, that's interesting. That'd get pretty interesting with a Skyclave Apparition, huh? Oh, that is interesting. I could get down for that. That is a lot of mana, though. So this turn might be something like set up Orthion and Iroas, and then maybe look for the Skyclave Apparition play when we untap with this. Sword on the Otharri. Let's see what they want to do. We're getting down there, too. We need to get some life back. Only 4 is, like, not that much to gain back. Like, it's better than not gaining life back, but we're getting to that part of the game where 23 life can disappear very quickly. I guess if nothing else, the lifelink should keep the Otharri tokens away. No, they've got Menace, so that's a problem. So we'll need another blocker at least before that becomes a thing. But yeah, lifelink, in theory, could counteract some of the Otharri damage. See what they want to do. We'll also want to think about Iroas being turned on next turn. They're going to go over to Flintlock. Yeah, Flintlock's at 45. Makes 2 tokens. Yep, getting the tokens going. See where those are going. The trigger's Rumor Gather. Oh, that seems good. Yeah, it seems really good in that deck. Unlikely that we'll be able to get Iroas animated. Aurelia off the top, maybe. Probably about it, though. It would have to be quad something. I guess Blade Historian would do that also. Because having the indestructible blocker would be good here, too. Annihilator down to 12. Flintlock at 41. 41's a bit of a mountain. Not if we're really rolling, but that Ugin did some work. It always does. Mana is much easier now. Like, people stopped running Ugin for a long time because things got, like, so quick. Now that you can just be explosive with, like, treasures and stuff, people should be running Ugin more than they have been. Because graveyard recursion is such a big thing, too. That's a Hero of Bladehold. Also a good Magic card. Okay, let's get the land into play. Maybe Iroas doesn't matter that much here? I don't know. We probably need Iroas. How much mana do we have? That's 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Oh, different names. We don't have lands with different names. That's been the Field of the Dead has not been triggering for that reason. I probably could have made different choices. Oh, maybe not. We've run into a lot of basics. Would love to get some tokens out of that. Those would be super helpful. So the question is, like, we need to be able to block and stuff, but we also need life gain. Maybe we're just staying back. Man, okay, so what does this actually do if we clone this thing 5 times? Go for, like, that one, the sword, that one. Yeah, there's plenty of stuff out there. Okay. Maybe we're holding back on Iroas. Yeah, I think we're holding back on Iroas this turn. I know what we can do. We should attack. We're gonna swing into Flintlock. Hopefully this doesn't get us killed. We hit Flintlock, we'll shoot the Rumor Gatherer, because that's a lot of card draw. It's our next land drop. Let's get the Hero of Bladehold in. And we'll move the sword to the Orthion. Though I was excited about the possibility of not tapping that Sunbaked Canyon. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if the life loss is worth it on these things. Like, drawing these things early is terrible. I mean, next turn I might just crack it so that we stop draining our life with it. I'll tell you what, though. I've been impressed by Sword of Fire and Ice lately. It showed up in a game a few weeks back, and there were like 2 commanders at the table with 2 toughness, so those couldn't be recast. One was like a Kalia, I think. We've dodged Blasphemous Act. Blasphemous Act is like the most played card in Red. And I mean, a lot of times people are like, yeah, I run removal, and they have like only Blasphemous Act, right? So, protecting yourself from the most commonly played board wipe is a really big deal. And then, of course, obviously, if there's like red aggro decks at the table, giving yourself blocks against that too. And then in our case, like, we'd be dead in the water without some extra card draw. And, you know, we haven't drawn a ton with this yet, but even the 2 or 3 that we've picked up keeping us from getting stuck, which is good. There's another draw off the Mangara. That's a land. Probably not what we wanted. Wouldn't be sad for an Emeria Shepherd. Atsushi into Annihilator. Yep. I figured they can have one more turn, but that was also probably a mistake. Actually. Well, this is interesting. So, that's got double strike, which means that's going to put them down to 2. So they're going to, like, need to make some very big plays, because even to just, like, not die to, like, menace tokens over here is going to be pretty tough for them. Prismatic Bridge Trigger. They're at 2. And it's a question of, like, whether we should have put that damage on them or not. It's a Bolus Planeswalker. Well, at least this thing's protected. Destroy target non-creature permanent. Gain control of a creature. That's about as nasty as they get. Oh. They shoot the Rage Reflection. Okay. That helps our goals here. Ooh. Orthion on this Hero of Bladehold? That should be game-winning. Yeah, they pass leaving all their mana up, which is, like, the worst thing that could happen. Let's see if Jenka wants to try and take them down. I would love to not get Rifted. Rift would be just god-awful for us. Make me regret not putting the damage on them. Hedron Archive. Like, if Jenka took this Rift for us, that wouldn't be the worst thing. I'd prefer that we didn't get hit with it during our turn, though. Or at any point, which is going to, like... Yeah, the way turns are laid out here, it's not going to be great for us if a Rift goes off. That's Perforos, God of the Forge. We get to draw a card. Sword of the Animist. Finding all the lands in ramp in this moment. This is actually our 7th land name. Field of the Dead is pretty close. And let's see what opponent wants to do here. Ooh, yeah, because they just play... Oh, yeah. Oh, God. Perforos? Yeah, that'll do so much damage. This Thrift. It's a Heliod's Intervention. Gaining a bunch of life. Okay. That's not as bad as I thought that was going to go. We do need to be careful about that Perforos and hope they don't find some, like... A token doubler would be really bad. Opponent's up to 22. I've been able to do that 1 or 2 times where someone's like lethal, and I'm like, nope, gain 30. And depending on the situation, like, especially if it's a 1v1, in a 1v1, like, that can get you back in it. Or, yeah, I mean, it depends, right? So, like, if the last player before your turn is attacking you, and then you gain all that life back, like, you don't lose that much, right? Where, if, like, you know, if it's, like, the first player that's attacking you, and then there's still 2 more to go after that, then, you know, you're probably still wide open to whatever's going on for a while. But, yeah, it's fun. It's fun when you can do that. Opponent's going to get back there, Rumor Gatherer. Sure. That is more card draw for them. That's a Perforos trigger, yeah. Based on what's on board, that's probably going to make Jenka the threat, although... Everyone's kind of threatening at this point. Though, there's 5 mana left. 5 mana left on this table. Ideally, Jenko will tap out, not interacting with our board and not killing us. Iroas now a creature, by the way, which is even more damage. But, yeah, if we can do this Orthion Hero of Bladehold thing, that'll be 1 really cool, super silly, and 3 probably game-winning. That's 5 Battlecry triggers and making, what, 10 tokens? No, it'll be 6 battle cries because it's, what, 5 copies? Yeah, it'll be 5 additional copies. So 6 total plus 12 tokens, all getting battle cried. Ooh, that seems good. Seems really good. That's a Truth and Justice. And importantly, they're going to use their last of their mana to equip that. We just need to survive. If they wanted to, they could kill us. Like, if they see this, they could take us down, but then you got to worry about this other stuff too. So, okay, this one into Annihilator. That one into Annihilator. Got the 2 big ones into Annihilator. There's going to be some tokens coming in here, though, plus some Perforos. Otharri and Sword of the Animist. Unfortunately, we're not going to have enough to also get Iroas doing all that. It'll take 13 mana. We're only going to be on like 10 or 11. That is 3 Perforos triggers, 3 Rumor Gatherer triggers. Yeah, those Perforos triggers will get you killed in a hurry. Pray to God no one has like a free kill spell. Oh, that would be so disappointing. Oh, wow, putting all the tokens on him, too. So, wants to take no chances. At this stage of the game, I can respect that. Because we're dwindling down there. Like, Flintlock's the only one that's really still got a lot of life. And I have not done the math. I've actually had a terrible headache all day. So, like, I will not be doing the math all that well for all these Hero of Bladeholds that are about to happen. We'll do our best. Should probably drink a little water before this moment. So, Annihilator has gone down. And I think we're going to get to do the thing. I'm very excited. Very, very excited. Brings it back to our turn. Play the snow cover just in case there does end up being another turn in this game. There's the Field of the Dead trigger. Finally getting one. Let's get down to this silliness. Make 5 copies of this Hero of Bladehold. It's a whole lot of Hero of Bladeholds. Oh god, we're going to have to math. We definitely need to kill Jenka, because Jenka can kill us. We'll send this one into Flintlock and that one into Flintlock. Okay, so we're going to get 6 Battlecry triggers. So that'll be plus 6. Notably, this will only have 5 on itself. So as a plus 6 is 8. +5 on that is also 8. That is 16. And then just start sending all these into Jenka. I love Hero of Bladehold. Like, I don't talk about it that much because I don't play decks that really support Hero that well anymore. I don't play token decks that much. But, like, when that card came out, I loved that card. Let's see, we gotta make sure we do this right. So tokens on the... Battle Cries on the bottom. Jenka has 3 blockers. So we'll lose our biggest 3, damage-wise. So let's just say those 3 go away. These are all getting +5. What does that mean? I don't know what that means. It means keep sending tokens. Flintlock might survive, and there might be math in here that, like, says we can kill both, but I don't want to take so many chances here. Okay, what does this look like? So all those get blocked. That's, what is that, like 8 tokens getting through all with +5? That's like 40 damage. Okay, that should be enough. And then we'll put a few into Flintlock. I've been meaning to get an Orthion for my Tap Creature Tribal deck. That's on my to-do list here. Because it will be really silly in that deck. This is a glorious moment, though. If you like Hero of Bladehold, 6 Hero of Bladeholds is just... It warms my heart. If only we had like an Adriana or an extra combat to go with this. That'd be overkill. True Conviction. True Conviction would be the one. There's all the tokens. Here come the battle cries. Hope this game doesn't crash. What do we got? 7s? Yeah, 7s are pretty good. 8 4s. Let's see how off my math was after blocks here. Oh, we had enough. Oh, wow. I didn't think we were going to have that much. Jenka, wow. Overkill Jenka a little, though. -40. I really wanted to make sure. Like I said, we weren't going to survive another turn against that Otharri deck. We may have been able to take our chances with Flintlock, just kind of depends on what they have. But that all worked out beautifully. So, yeah, let everyone else be the threat for a while you try to build back up. And then set up an Orthion in play and then make yourself 6 copies of Hero of Bladehold. Beautiful. Just the way we drew it up. Yeah, this is a really cool deck. It's just very tight. It's very recursive. Sadly, we didn't get to see as much of it because there was a bunch of exile. If I didn't cut the Dockside Extortionist, we've been soft banning Dockside because it is just a little bit too much like, I win. We would have been able to get that early, and like 5 or 6 extra mana there means that we can probably get Iroas and crack that Magus of the Wheel in response to the Ugin, which means we don't run out of cards. So, like, yeah, it would have gotten stronger and more consistent had we still had Dockside in the deck. But, yeah, this deck it's really consistent. Like, I've watched him just kind of repeat the same things over and over again. It always seems like he's never really out of it because it does value pretty well. Like I said, the recursion, it's got just the things it needs to kind of finish out the game. We've got some double strike there, combat, double strike. So yeah, he's got just a little bit of everything that he needs kind of all mashed in here, and it works beautifully. But I also thought opponents had some really good showings that game too. So the Prismatic Bridge deck was definitely the threat for a lot of the game, and rightfully so. Especially because, like, they were showing that they were just dropping, like, all the biggest, nastiest stuff. Nicole Bolas, Archon of Cruelty, what else? A Bringer came down. So they had their moment in the game. You know, that's the thing. Everyone kind of had their moment in this game. Flintlock had their moment early on with the Morag and the Rage Reflection. They kind of got stunted by the Teferis a little bit. And also the fact that we had that Pro-Red Sword, meaning they couldn't get as much damage into us. So Jenka ended up taking a lot of that damage. And also kind of the fog effect from the Teferis ate up some of it too. Because that was a lot of damage. Double strike with Morag. Ooh. That is nasty. It like makes me wonder if you could put a Morag in this deck. For me, it's always sort of the toss-up of like Morag or Waves of Aggression. I personally like Waves of Aggression just a teeny bit better because as good as Morag is, it does require that you have a land and it does require that it doesn't get shot. Waves is much harder to interact with because, you know, if they don't exile it, right, it'll just sit in your graveyard waiting for you. I do love me some Waves. See, but yeah, Flintlock had their moment, and Otharri had its moment too. All that stuff there towards the end got the tokens and the Perforos. So put it this way, if Annihilator doesn't have all the life gain, they die to the Perforos triggers, meaning that a lot of that damage is probably coming in our direction, and they may have had lethal on us, because we did not have a lot in the way of blockers, and Iroas giving everything menace. Like, they could probably take an additional player out right there. So yeah, everyone kind of had their moment in this game. It was actually pretty cool. It is surprisingly rare when that happens. So yeah, thanks to opponents for a good game. As far as suggestions for this deck, what's missing is Elish Norn. Elish Norn is obviously just really strong. Could just be like a meta call to, you know, not Elish Norn everyone to death. But yeah, Elish Norn would obviously make the deck stronger. Oh, someone mentioned some spicy tech to me the other day that I'd never thought about. You put a infiltration lens on Iroas, or like any of the creatures in Iroas, but particularly Iroas because no one wants to take Iroas damage. So whenever a equipped creature becomes blocked by a creature, you may draw 2 cards, which means anytime anything gets blocked, you're going to draw 4 cards. And that's really good. So I would definitely add that in. We'll cut this to Bolt's Trickery. That is definitely a pickup. What card did I say to cut? I said to cut. Yeah, I'd probably cut the Reconstruct History for this, quite honestly. That is a spicy little piece of tech that... And this is a weird card, too, where, like, early in the game, they'll probably just take the damage. As the game goes on, that's when you're going to start drawing cards. Someone's low on life. You're like, ooh, you're low on life. You don't want to take damage. Yeah, you better block this. So, hope you guys enjoyed the video. As always, feel free to comment, like, or subscribe. Thank you for watching. I want to thank my awesome Patreon supporters. You guys are awesome. If you want to help support the channel, vote on which decks I play next, or if you want to get some good games of Spell Table, be sure to check out my Patreon at the link below.